All right, you guys, it is time for Let's Play and Chat, and I know that many of you have got some comments and some questions you want to throw at me regarding my Metal Gear, my Death Stranding, I'm thinking about Metal Gear in my head, review. Please feel free to fire those at me, and I saw some comments. People are like, where's your Legend of Bumbo review? Where's your, there was another one in there. Star Wars I have reviewed. That was for Donovan King. That was the Jedi Fallen Order. Fantastic game. Respawn killed it with that game. Dr. Gamelove said, but is he saying it would be a 5 or 6 without the few extra points he gave it because of Kojima? I'm not gonna pick, split hairs on any of that stuff. I was 7.5 when I first had done a bunch of hours into it. Gave it a 9 as I started to fall in love with it, and then I came back to reality. I think an 8 is a pretty solid score for Death Stranding. Blake is here. We are going to play Children of Morta today, which is very cool. We haven't had you on playing a game for a little bit.
not.
Who's running the show?
Nobody.
Ah!
Holy shit.
Okay.
Let me know how the audio sounds, everybody.
So there was another question. Oh, Stormland. I am still playing Stormland. I will have a review of that as well as the Oculus Rift
Where's the
S.
any button?
The which?
Where's the any button?
Did it not have one? I guess you're gonna have to start.
It says press any button. Where's the any
Oh, there
button?
you go. Press. You're gonna have to boot through all the story because there's a long one. So new save slot right there.
I was not told this game had a story.
Yeah, we'll just boot through it all. Bam, bam, bam. Just keep pressing that A button. We want to show off some of the gameplay
no, it's
here.
not working, Vic. I can't skip anything.
Yeah, you can. It'll happen.
Is stuff skipping. How's the audio sound?
You want to press that.
Let me know how the audio sounds because I can't hear it.
Press the start button. No.
Is there audio? I'm not hearing anything.
Yeah, I don't hear anything
What
either.
are people saying in the chat?
I don't know. Can you guys hear any?
I'm not hearing nothing.
There it is.
We go.
Oh, that was music.
Margaret
Okay.
Okay.
The music.
So now you can.
Okay, so let us know now how it sounds relative to our voices.
We cut the music off so you guys could hear everything.
She gathered her thoughts.
Death Stranding is the epitome as to why I don't own a PlayStation. Jake Speed Fit 43 says throwing the gloves down right away in the chat right now. Listen, it's a good game. It's a really good game. It's just got too much. It's like the packages that he has to pack. There's just too many of them. There's too much loaded into that game that kind of knocked me out. I know that Marco. I don't know if you finished it, Marco, or what your thoughts are, but I know that he has been loving it. Sam I am 111. Oh, Shenmue 3 review. I have not had any time to play that yet. I have the game. I have not had time to check that out.
You just poured, 60 hours?
Yeah, I was playing the crap out of Death Stranding. And I do have, I've got Need for Speed coming. I've got the Oculus stuff coming. I want to finish the last episode of the Darth Vader game as well. There's a couple other ones in there. I can't remember.
So people are saying the chat, the audio is good?
Yeah.
Okay.
Please give Enter the Gungeon a solid 1,000 hours. That's from Acnodis.
Oh, this is cool.
I can hear you. Question: will you be reviewing Crisis on Infinite Earths when the episodes air this month? Yeah. I've got to watch all that. Even though I'm not caught up on everything, I think I'll be able to follow along.
This is like a twin stick shooter.
Yeah, it's got twin stick controls.
It's like I'm using the other joystick.
Yeah,
to
it's a roguelike, so you get as far as you can. But it's a beautiful game, though, right?
I love the art style.
Sprite-based, but super
reminds
detailed.
Me of Sword and Sorcery.
A little bit, yep. Yeah, for sure. Too many games come out in the past month or so. I'm actually glad that Doom Eternal got pushed back. Yeah, Abby, great. I totally agree with you.
Crisis wait till January because the first 3 are this week.
Okay.
And then the last 2 parts start with last episode of Arrow and first episode of the new season of Legends.
Oh, okay. So everything wraps up next month. Okay. So Kurt just said that everything wraps up next month. I'll wait until I've watched the whole thing, and then I'll give you some thoughts. And that'll probably give me time to get caught up on a bunch of the episodes that I've been missing on that on those different shows. VM Windustries, thank you for the love. You're very sweet. Vic, do you think we will get an announcement for the new Batman game at the Game Awards? I think so. It's been teased and teased and teased. This is Warner Brothers Montreal, I believe, not Rocksteady. But I think we're going to find out some stuff very soon.
The other rumor is Resident Evil 3 remake from Capcom.
That would be rad.
Yeah,
that would be rad. Let's see what we got here.
Jeff Keighley exclusives.
He's getting them. Let's see. I did Asgard's Wrath, Miss Hojat. You got to check that out. Fantastic game.
Did you do that as a separate video, or wasn't that as part of a bigger?
No, I did a review.
Did we?
Yep.
I don't remember. I must have cut it, but I don't remember.
You cut it. We've cut it and shot and reviewed a lot of things this year, man.
That was two continents ago. We went to 2 different continents.
There are a lot of good exclusives on the PlayStation. Oh, Chris Dugan is standing up. He's throwing the gauntlets down. He's in the other corner, saying there are a lot of good exclusives on PlayStation 4. Spider-Man, God of War, Detroit Becomes Human, and a lot more. Heck, I don't even like The Order 1886. Oh, he even likes The Order 1886.
I guess we're getting Ghost of Tsushima.
Yeah, Ghost of Tsushima.
Right? It has to be out before the PS5.
I think that's going to be a PS5 game as well. Let's see. They are rumoring a second Capcom game besides Resident Evil 3. Capcom's on fire right now.
Yeah, they're supposed to be announcing 2 games, and one of them is supposedly Resident Evil 3.
Yep.
But I don't know what the other one is.
Well, if Resident Evil 2 is in the running for Game of the Year, and it's a pretty solid contender, arguably. It would make sense for Capcom to announce Resident Evil 3.
A battle was certain.
Yeah. Let's see. Audio is rad. Johnny Dark, thank you. Audio's perfect. Let's see. What do we got in here? Love your reviews, Vic. How do you prepare for them? Do you freestyle it or write notes beforehand? That's a great comment, Dad, dude.
He doesn't write notes.
I used to write a ton of notes. You would like it if I did.
No, it's...
Blake cuts me to sound a lot more intelligent than I am. But I do freestyle it, and sometimes I have trouble with an actor's name or a character's name because I'm spinning on it. And sometimes I get a text back from Blake saying you totally mispronounced this character, or that is not his name, or the game isn't even called that.
You called Concrete Genie Concrete Jungle a couple times.
Oh, did I call
in the middle of your review?
Yeah, I freestyle it, and I guess I do that more as, I got into the routine of shooting so many reviews with different partners over the years, and we would lean on each other. And then when the show wasn't on TV and I knew I was going to have to step up and review so much content, this last few years have been a real challenge for myself to see how I could adequately and accurately present my thoughts through improvisation. And sometimes I do it a little bit better than others. But I also feel...
I was being facetious earlier. Like, you're pretty good.
Certainly there's some times where notes would be a benefit, but I don't know. I've gotten into this
You would sound
kind
too
of...
formal. You would sound
Yeah,
too
I don't want to
formal
read a
if you had
script,
notes.
right?
Yeah.
Like, and I don't want it to come off like
Before
I'm
him was
memorizing
now
a script
one
either,
more
which is one of the
dangerous
challenges. When
than
you get
those that came
words,
before.
whether you're on stage to host something, and I've had this happen. People have said, okay, well, we want you to use the prompter, but, you can riff if you want. And it's very hard to deviate from the words when the words are right there for you. It takes a little while to get used to that. And some of the best presenters on earth are completely naturalized. Stephen Colbert and Conan O'Brien and people like that. They can read a cue card or read a prompter and then go right off and just spin and go right back into it. And I've hosted stuff, where you can start to freak out because you can't find your place on where you are. And so sometimes it's just easier to just be, authentic and stumble and bumble a little bit, but try to get to your points.
Okay,
But
so
it is, like with my thoughts on Death Stranding, especially in a live venue like the VFS Cafe here at 390 West Hastings, by the way. Come on down and be a part of the
if you're
show.
in the Vancouver area. We're
it
a
is-
5-minute walk from Waterfront Station.
But it is a little nerve-wracking sometimes to just, go and say something coherent on stage with no script. Do it. Go. And we need a score, and you need to make sense. That can be a little bit...
I have this skill tree, and it says, do I not get to choose my first ability? Is that
You have one upgrade. Yeah, press A.
But I can't choose something else.
Oh, no, you got to start with your first one usually.
Okay.
And then what happens is in roguelikes you carry over that stuff,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
there's also a whole family tree that you get to
I wasn't
impart
sure if
this
it's like
stuff
the
on.
first one I don't get a choice of which skill tree I max out. I don't know.
Dad Dude follows up. I think that's why your reviews feel organic and nice to listen to. I notice a lot of reviewers sound robotic reading their material.
Yeah,
Thanks
it's
for
'cause
the
they're
great
reading-
content
they're reading
and answering my
script.
question. Yeah, there's lots of ways to approach this, but I've
A familiar
25 years
threat,
of
albeit
experience now being in front of the camera, and I don't know. was deliberate in the fact that it was unscripted with Reviews on the Run back in the Tommy and I days, because my favorite stuff on television with review content was Siskel and Ebert, and I noticed that when those guys finished their, encapsulation of what the story of the movie was and sort of their written piece on what their thoughts were, and they went at it head to head, that was the best stuff in every episode of Siskel and Ebert. And I went, that's what our show is. Reviews on the Run is going to be that bit right there. We're just going to go right at how we feel about it. It took us a few seasons to get super comfortable with each other and get comfortable with presenting our thoughts, but that is what the flow of the show became, and then everybody had to step up to do that.
Look how beautiful this game is.
It's gorgeous. Yeah. I would love to come by and see the show live. I live down in California, but maybe I'll make it up there one of these days. That'd be awesome, Dad, dude. We are totally open to having tourists come to Vancouver
We're in the
and check
same
it out.
time zone as California.
It's not the nicest time of year right now. Full disclosure.
It's fine.
But it's nice and warm in here, right?
Before him
Nice and warm.
was
Thank you,
sacred ground,
Amon R. When do you expect a
left
PlayStation 5
untouched
reveal? I expect it in
days gone
February,
by.
like the PlayStation 4 reveal. They did something like that. It's probably going to be in New York City.
remaining calm
I don't know.
and collected,
I'm just
the
spitballing.
shock
But
of
they
his
did
heart skipping
stuff like that with the
Holiday,
PlayStation 4.
yeah,
in
maybe
expert
March,
fashion.
Improvisation keeps things fresh. I think people
Before
tend to get
him
into a
stood
repetitive
Linda,
rhythm when everything is
his
plotted
eldest
out.
daughter,
Abby Jameson,
bow
good
and
point.
quiver at
Yeah,
the
and I
ready,
think that's
determined to do
I've
her
been doing this
part.
for a long time, and I think all of these different ways that I challenge myself, even getting outside and finding a location, all of that stuff makes it a different thing every time, and I feel like, no offense, or I'm not throwing shade in the way anybody else does it, but I don't know. We found some cool ways to keep it kind of engaging and different every single time, and that is a part of our longevity for sure. New Echo, new Earthworm Jim, count me in. Acnodius. I'm not sure how you say that. Think talking about the Intellivision. Got to have Tommy. It's the Intellivision anniversary today too, I think, right? 40th anniversary
Is it?
or soon.
I know it's like PlayStation's
Yeah,
anniversary.
congratulations to the Intellivision folks and to Tommy. We're going to have him on the show soon. Vic is the two-pack of video game review freestyling from Hi There.
Before
Okay.
the Guardians were not beasts feeding,
What are your true
but
feelings about the
monsters
Intellivision
consuming,
Amico, Feral
destroying
81?
others,
I
corrupted
played
and
some of the games at
distorted,
E3 and they
creating
were
even
fun,
more
and they are
hungry
definitely
husks.
family-focused. They certainly don't look state-of-the-art or anything like that, but that's not what they're trying to be. They're trying to be accessible and fun, and they've got some really cool ideas with the technology. Everything's in prototype stage right now, but I know that Tommy has been having awesome meetings with lots of different retailers across the world, and there's a whole international component to the rollout of Intellivision. This thing is serious, and I know firsthand. I've worked with Tommy, side by side with him for many, many years, and that guy works his ass off. He was making music and creating sound effects and working in the video game industry while he was hosting our shows, and he was killing it on both fronts. And then he started Video Games Live, and everybody thought he was crazy to do that. And it was like, well, went to the Hollywood
Both
Bowl
father
first
and
show
daughter gathered
and
their
sat
thoughts,
beside
their
Elijah
hearts
Wood and
heavier
sat
than
at the table
before.
with Stan
How
Lee,
would
and
they explain what they had witnessed?
Tommy makes his things happen. He's a real go-getter right from day one, and I learned a ton working with him, and have mad respect for him. And I'm fired up. I can't wait to get the Intellivision in this space, hopefully with Tommy, and we can check it out. And maybe some of you guys will be here, and we can all check it out in person. I think that'd be great. And I think that would be an awesome thing
Together,
for Tommy to do.
father and daughter
Yeah,
So,
described
putting that
the
out there.
horror,
There's a new Earthworm
creatures
Jim game
dripping
coming
with
Yep.
decay
exclusively
that
to
slithered into
television.
bodies
Yep.
stuffed
It's pretty
between
cool.
life
I've-
and
we've
death
heard a
to
few things about
bolster
it.
their
Looks pretty
ranks.
Tommy
Grandma
knows
Margaret confirmed
what games are
what they
fun.
all feared.
He
It was the
knows
corruption,
what's
a cruel
missing in this
entity
space.
spoken of
Now,
only with
that's
hushed
not to say
voices,
that there isn't
an
competition
ocean
with
of
companies
darkness
like
that flowed from the
Nintendo,
top
and
of Mount
like
Morta.
Sony might see a little bit of the noise that Intellivision makes for the family, and they might sort of roll some stuff in that direction too. But right now, there is a nice space for something like that harkens back to that nostalgic stuff, but also delivers some interactive entertainment that is palatable and playable by everybody.
Celestial shard,
And
chipped directly
MDK
from the
20,
ancient crystal
22420 says, I
sanctuary.
respect that it
It would
wasn't
be the
kickstarted. Yeah, I mean, the Atari
lifeline,
VCS
tethered
stuff
to
that's been
pull them
happening
back
is
home
not too...
before death's fateful
It's not too
whisper.
affirming. It doesn't make you feel comfortable, you know, especially the people that did back that machine.
It doesn't inspire confidence.
Yeah, it feels like I don't know. You get a whiff of vaporware off
Should
of
we
that
say
whole
this?
thing.
We went to an Atari thing
Yeah.
at PAX a couple of years ago, and we tried to ask them about the console, and they
Yeah.
wouldn't talk about it.
No.
And that was a weird sign.
It was.
Do you remember
weird.
that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It
was
was
weird that they weren't willing to discuss it at all. That raised a red flag in my brain.
All of it is a little weird, yeah. Like there should be a lot more joy and lightness around the idea that Atari is bringing back a retro machine, but there's just a lot of skepticism and negativity, and I don't know how you flip that around. Meanwhile, I think there's a ton of skepticism and negativity around the Intellivision launch, but there's been a lot of
Shit, I have no shield.
different ways that it's been addressed, which I have respect
I
for.
shouldn't have used this character. Vic.
That being said, we don't. Well, the whole thing with roguelikes is you die, but you just
No,
get
no,
as far
I
as you
know.
can.
I don't want to die though. That's I'm trying to. That's my point. I'm trying to get as far as I can. And I picked a bad
Dr.
character.
Gamelove says, I find myself playing these type of modern retro games more than 60-hour AAA epics. Yeah, this is a fantastic game, and it really speaks to the idea that you can have, simplified visuals. Simplified visuals is a beautiful aesthetic.
It's probably harder to design this than a.
It is very
traditional
hard.
3D game.
Yeah, you got to, create all that art with little dots. It's incredible. But yeah, I mean, this speaks to the fact that retro gaming and retro styled games and old classic games are still incredibly valuable. One of the most enjoyable things I've done this year is start up the 16-bit superhero segment. Got a couple more of those coming pretty soon too, and I love playing a lot of this classic stuff. There's still tons of room for that in our world. Comment, I really enjoy the way you shoot your reviews from the good old days with the gameplay being displayed on a wall or billboard behind you and Tommy. Jordan Cunningham, yeah, that was a ton of fun. And we
Also
were really...
a ton of work to do that.
It is a ton of work because you have to composite and you have to, cut, elements out of the frame and put it all in there. And back then, it was our director at the time was really showing off that his capabilities, and he did a great job. But it did become a major hassle, sort of maintaining that. And then I think when we did it for almost every season that we had Tommy with the show, and then I think when we did it for some of the Judgment Day stuff as well.
We stopped doing it when reviews went daily.
When reviews went daily?
'Cause
Did we go along all that way?
We were still doing it.
Holy crap.
As of 2008, because I was working here and we were still doing it.
Yeah, it was a lot of work. It'd be a lot easier to do that now, but it would still be a lot of work for you. Yeah.
Thing,
Yeah. Question from Patrick Furtado. Are you interested in the next Darksiders game? I like the gameplay in 3, but was disappointed in the story. Patrick, I played a little bit of the. It's like a top-down action role-playing thing. It's cool. Where I got to in what I played, it got kind of stuck, but it was really early. I think it's going to be solid. I've been impressed with the preservation of Darksiders, even though the resources kind of disappeared and they brought it back to life. 3 was okay, and I still want to go back and there was new DLC and everything. I've been playing 1, and I played 1 on the Switch again, and I've been playing a little bit of 2, and I'll have some thoughts on that pretty soon, but yeah, I like that this is still coming, and I want there to be a major Darksiders 4. And presumably, if everybody buys this new action, RPG, derivation, or this new one that's being offered up to us, then that will sort of usher in the idea that a 4 will come. But it's a great franchise. Gauntlet Dark Legacy was awesome. I'd like another one of like that. That's from AYC Super Bob. I dug Battle Chasers. The new Darksiders speaks to me. Blair Farrell. I did too. I thought it was cool. Let's see what we got here.
What is it with RPGs and fantasy games and destroying barrels?
Well, that's where all the stuff is.
Because I'm playing Zelda right now, the Link's Awakening.
Yeah. All the loot and all the goodies are in the barrels. That's all they had.
Yeah.
They didn't have safes and fridges and things like that.
That's a weird trope in video games.
Yeah, what's weirder is floating turkeys.
Yeah, that is
floating food. Yeah. or have 3 edits per sentence like a lot of YouTubers, Dr. Gamelove says.
Oh, sometimes we do. It's just it's covered with B-roll.
Let's see, what else we got in here? VR Grid. Halo has dropped off. Gears is good, but the same. And after that, it gets pretty meh. Forza, I suppose, talking about some of the big heavy hitters from Microsoft, but hopefully that will be augmented by lots of other new games very soon. Let's see what we got here.
You have found the finish room portal.
Ms. Hojat says, sometimes I forget what you have reviewed and what you haven't. I probably saw the review and just forgot about it. Talking about Asgard's Wrath. This has been a particularly busy year for reviews. We have done a lot of review content.
We
have. Yeah. I've been pretty consistent trying to keep up with as much stuff as possible. And I got to be honest, some nights it's like, oh my God, it's so late, and then I got to get up super early in the morning. Some days I'm like, okay, I'm pushing it a little bit too hard. There have been some Fridays where I've gotten to Friday, finished up BP Live, gone home, and just went and crashed. And that's one of my goals for next year is to find a little bit more balance with all that stuff. Acnodsis. I won't be able to give. Enter the Gungeon a solid 1,000 hours. I won't be able to do that. It is great to see Blake again up here, isn't it, Dad, dude? He kills it every day on our shows, or on the show, but all the other things that we do as well. Here we go. Johnny Dark. Death Stranding is honestly the most memorable experience I've had with a video game since last gen. I know that game has been speaking to tons and tons of people. And you know, perhaps if I didn't review everything and play all these other games, and it wasn't like the job to get through it and to just tell you guys how I feel about this. I try to frame everything that I do just from my truthful impressions of what is going on with me emotionally as I play all this stuff. But if I was just a fan and I played like most people, I don't know, 15 games a year or something like that, Death Stranding would have a bigger impact because there's certainly a lot in there. But I've played a lot, and the thing that I keep thinking about is Astral Chain delivers a lot of that same kind of esoteric connection to an alternate reality, and you can kind of defeat the monsters with your skill. But there's a lot more gameplay in there. There's a lot more fun to play that game. Astral Chain's a way better game for me than Death Stranding is. And that's just one example. And I wish more people were talking about Death Stranding or about Astral Chain. I want a proper Sly Cooper that's like Sly 2. More games need to be built around heists. That's a great comment there, Blair Farrell. I would
there's crafting in this game, Vic.
Second that.
I don't know what I'm doing.
Yes, you have to craft.
I don't know how to craft.
Beautiful game. We didn't talk about this very much, but
I'm really bad at crafting.
Children of Morta is gorgeous. That's okay. Just
I never craft in games.
There you craft it. There you go. Acnodsis. I don't know. I'm making it up every time. David Jaffe said in an interview before God of War 1 that he hates block-pushing puzzles, and then there was like an hour of block-pushing puzzles in God of War, so I don't trust him. Throwing some shade at David Jaffe right there. Eat this, you gravy-sucking dog. Vic, how do you feel about Elizabeth Banks getting rewarded with another project after failing with Charlie's Angels? I think Elizabeth Banks has done a lot of great things over the years. Didn't she do that?
Fail is a very relative terms in movies.
Yeah, but didn't she do the singing franchise thing? What the hell's that thing called with all the women singers?
But I mean, if you deliver a major Hollywood film on budget, on time,
yeah.
Even if it doesn't sell well, it's like that might not be your fault. It might be the fault of the marketing,
and
release date.
Yeah, they're
whatever,
always chasing a moving target. Nobody knows what's going to be what's going to be
doesn't
successful.
Mean it's not on the director if a movie fails. Not always. You know, sometimes it is. Sometimes it isn't.
Have I checked out Noita from Sam I Am 111? I've seen the title pop up in places, but I have not played it. All right, take it easy. Okay, that is our cue,
is
actually.
That our cue?
Yeah. David Jaffe is streaming on YouTube right now. I am a big fan of David Jaffe, actually.
David Jaffe's pretty cool.
He's a good dude.
Okay, bye, everyone.
But he does, like all of us, put his foot in his mouth. I do that all the time. Okay, you guys, that is going to do it for our episode of EP Live today. We'll be back with a brand new episode on Wednesday, so please come back for that. It's at 4:30 p.m. Pacific, and you can come watch us live right here at the VFS Cafe at 390 West Hastings, and we'll have some more content for you tomorrow as well to watch. But thank you so much for watching today. Remember to subscribe to the channel, share it. We love if you share our videos out there and let more people know that we're making lots of cool stuff over here. And thank you so much for supporting us and for watching our stuff. We'll see you soon. And until then, play forever.